Those MCs are nice. And the DJs, nice. Some nice hip-hop. Yeah, man. And when they get to breaking down on some of the rap, nice MCs. Well, I'll just leave it at that, because otherwise I'll just be repeating myself. That's it. I've gone on for like 20 odd minutes. I didn't get with the can't program or that negative basket that undid agreeably. Yeah, no. So like, that's that. Stay safe, stay well. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't have any accidents. And that, if you got COVID-19 or Omicron, stay home, save lives. And that, try to recover. That really impressed me. And that's interesting. So, keep it real, keep making it happen. Thank you. You're live, yeah, with me. Yeah, with me, Elkanah, DRK, VPR, call me Sahir, call me Yasha, call me Shotakuna, call me Enshwi, or just call me Frank, because they all mean the same thing. I'm Frank, and you are with me at this media event. It's live. The course itself is a 4-part course. The title of the course is called How Inspiring Hip-Hop Arts Influence Society and Culture. Now, this is like the third. I'm a little bit late. I was supposed to start this at 9 o'clock this evening. I had other stuff to do. It was almost at the end of 9 in the evening, pardon me. It's coming up to 10 o'clock. And this course itself is titled How Does Hip-Hop Advantage Culture? So, how does hip-hop advantage culture? Well, let's think. You familiar with what a cultural pig is, right? Yeah. A cultural pig in society is like remarks that skive, like visceral remarks. So they're like deep wounding remarks. Yeah, racism is of a cultural pig, and sexism is of a cultural pig, stuff like that. It's basically, so yeah, inequalities. Someone like who has no other regard but the regard to remark like, or make remarks like a cultural pig. It's the person who has nothing else to say but like, prejudice things, hateful things that are like discriminatory and that, derogatory remarks and that of a cultural pig, someone of like rhetoric, really, in a purpose of like hip hop arts and that, and hip hop literature and stuff, is of inhumanity. Yeah, someone who's like inhumane and that. So what else are they known for? What are culture pigs known for? In culture itself, like, a lot of emphasis and focus with like heavy emphasis has been put on, like in hip hop, it's been put on like the martial arts, like karate and kung fu, to kind of like the gangsterism of like criminals and that. There are also like other things like stardom and that as well. That's very prominent within a hip hop culture for purposes of art itself and its literature within culture. Do you see the differences? Do you see the how symbolic a lot of these like derogative references are, and that within the point of like hip hop arts and the culture? You think on like things like fear especially is a big one for me, and it just does it throughout haters and everything I mentioned already in terms of like sexism and racism, everything, the ignorance and that, like fear's like the biggest one in terms of like reactions, demands, a lack of like social justice or like social injustice and stuff like that. Yeah, a really big one. And like all the drugs and that, and drug references and everything, or like pimps and gangsters. Throughout the history of like Black America and their struggles, as well as here in Britain, as well, and other countries around the world, in imagery and everything, forefront with the hip hop arts and culture. Imagery is like a really big one to see like black people doing well and how other black people as well as white people hate it and that or fear it. It's been very prominent since the 80s, like especially for like me, paying attention formally and that within my interests in the hip hop culture and hip hop arts and the movement. So obviously like pigs, well, pig is another one, because there's so much more to a pig than a cop. There's so much more to it, yeah. So much more to a pig than the likes of a cop or even a bad cop at that matter. But symbolically and stuff within the arts and the culture, imagery's forefront, in how I understand it, and within matters of the industry itself and that as well, and how the issues, how problems and trouble is delegated within the Congress of the industry, complexities really, like, and in terms of like how society interpret it and their thoughts and feelings about it. Complexity, definitely complexities, and ambiguous as well in the likes of some, you know, who don't really disambiguate it properly. And that, you know, a lot of animal references and people being compared to the likes of animals, and that obviously with the like on dog as well. Besides, dog's a big one, but a lot of like animal references are like metaphorical analogies, and that where within contrasts of what's being conveyed, you know, within contrast of what's being conveyed, the kind of like where they juxtapose everything with comparatives and that, and you know, like it's to do with like expectations. It's to do with what's already known and established, or found to be within life, and to like not necessarily even the norm. It's not really meant to be like in the point, because a lot of it's to do with like it's the reactions and demands of rights, and in complaint, and in, you know, risque, tongue-in-cheek, the kind of like, to like, speaking figuratively about the problems, the issues, the troubles, the ills, and to think. So how did it, in a circumstance of that, and the like hip hop arts and its influence in that within its capabilities to like inspire people, how does hip hop let's have a look, how does hip hop advantage culture? Well, for me, speaking, I'm not ready to look at that. Awareness is a big thing. So, like, they're like conveying what's up. Yeah, period. That's all they've ever really done, right? Within reactions, demands, their rights and that, to complain or whatever, or like make issue, however they see fit and that, you know, without fear of being misunderstood. Although you might not even care if they are misunderstood, you like interpret it however you want to interpret it. You know, they're just rappers anyway. It's a whole some rap, isn't it? So like, I can see that I've come up at the very top. How does hip hop advantage culture? I'm right at the top there with the live stream I'm doing right at the moment on Google. I've been indexed. And my channel's live vids right up there as I'm making it. And that. How does hip-hop influence culture? Right? So hip-hop, it's more than music, right? Like, and it wakes you up. You should be woke on, like, listening to hip-hop. You should be realised in that and aware of, like, what's up and that. So, like, it's full, it's vibrant. It's culture, right? And since the 80s, hip-hop has influenced and uplifted America, Britain, Europe, like all over the world, out into like Australia and like Asia, right? It's speaking up for generations. Yeah, speaking up, standing up for what they believe in and stuff like that, providing a voice for the people, for the marginalised populations. In opponents of hip-hop culture, they argue that the music is aggressive in nature and promotes social rebellion. Right? So, right, getting into that, this is all where the indexing is, right? What are the advantages of hip-hop music? Hip-hop, it has extensive positive benefits, right? That's what's been going on, that's what's up in terms of what the influence and the inspiration that is given to society, right? And allows artists to speak about problems, right, in the world, like injustices, crime or poverty, you know? It also helps with exercise by allowing a participant to accomplish aerobic and anaerobic benefits. So like that's in the respiratory system and breathing, breath control, stuff like that. In the intonation, you know? Delivering like poetic conveyance, and furthermore hip hop helps like with therapy. Of course it does, as long as you like can like you have self-control, as long as you have self-control over your anger, because a lot it's like it makes it angry, it's like emotive and that it's emotional. You know, give you feelings. That's what it's all about. That's all hip hop ever did for me. It was like give me feelings. Right. So, why is hip-hop important to youth culture? Why is it important to youth culture? As culture, hip-hop can allow learners to become more engaged in more ways that mean more to them. Yeah, even in adult learning, it's the same thing. As a topic, hip-hop can be, like, hyper-relevant, yeah? So, like, relevancy. So, like, yeah, sure. Hip-hop and arts and its culture extremely relevant and within what's proportionate to like what you know they're stating and their topics and subjects. Hip-hop, right, is about making music. So it's music making, right? It's an act of creating conscious hip-hop. It can be empowering, engaging and enlightening. right?